Hi guys, Dave here back with another video, and today we're going to be reviewing Demon Slayer Stories of Water and Flame. I briefly mentioned this in my favorite one-off manga video, but today I wanted to go a little more in depth and really break down what this manga is about. Um, I don't know how many people may know about this manga. I'm not like trying to sound like a manga hipster or whatever, but I consider myself to be a pretty big Demon Slayer fan, and I had no idea this existed. Um, but I guess just a little breakdown. It is, as it says, it is stories of water and flame. So you get one story about Rengoku and one story about Gyo. I had to double check. I had to double check the name because I'm bad with names. But um, this is a very great manga in a world building sense. These stories I think Gyo's story is parallel to the Demon Slayer story, and I believe Rengoku's story is a little bit of a prequel to the Demon Slayer story that we all know and love. So it makes for really great world building. Seeing what some of these other characters were up to during and before the events of Tanjiro that we know, a little bit more. So again, putting these different characters in different situations, I find to be really interesting. And again, like I said, it helps build and flush out the world a little bit more. Um, Shout out to Target too. They just had 20% off on it. This is where I found it. I mentioned it in my one-off video, I think. If you're ever in Target, check out their manga section. They might have some decent stuff there. But anyway, yeah. So I really enjoyed this manga. Again, it gave us a nice different look at some of these characters that that both Gyo and Rengoku are, I think, fan favorites. I mean, they're two of my favorite characters. They're both fucking awesome. Um, and the stories that are featured, I guess we'll start with Gyo's story because that's the first one. It's a pretty interesting story. It's up in the north, so there's a lot of snow. They deal with this girl and her father who turned into, well, I guess I don't want to spoil it, but I guess not spoiling it kind of spoiled it a little bit. But basically they deal with this girl who's coming to terms with demons in her life, and um how that affects her, and in turn how it may affect Gyo having to be a part of it and having to watch that, in his traditional stoic attitude, I guess showing that he really does care, even though he may not show it. He may care about trying to fight demons, trying to help people, even though it doesn't always come across that way. And I find that to be really, a really cool building onto his character of, like, there's more layers to this guy. He's not just your typical stoic anime, guy who's like, oh, I don't care about anything. Like, there's more to him. And of course, we've already seen that in the show and in the manga proper, but it's cool to just see more of that, and see more character building for him. There's a really cool fight scene, and it being in the north, a lot of snow and everything. It reminded me a little bit of Golden Kamuy, just at least in the setting, especially because the girl that they're helping out, I forget like specifically like what tribe she's from, but she reminded me a lot of Ishirpa from Golden Kamuy. If anybody's read that manga or seen that anime, um, just in her aesthetic, and some of the thing, in a little bit of her attitude and stuff like that. So um, it was nice to draw those parallels because, again, Golden Kamuy is a really great series. It has a really great setting, really great characters. And I think it just makes for a cool property, and it was nice to see a similar aspect to that make its way into Demon Slayer. But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to Gyo's story. I thought it was just the setting was cool, the story behind it was interesting, and it helped kind of build off of Gyo's character, and the thing, they touch a little bit on how that relates to the Hashira and how that relates to like Tanjiro and his story. Um, the fact that, maybe demons, just because they're demons, they're still people in a way. And that's why, it can be really hard to do what they need to do, because it should be easy, right? It should be easy to just say, hey, that's a demon, I'm going to kill that. But knowing that they were once people, and even in their even when they're in that demon state, they still have some form of consciousness that, like, may have them hold back for a split second, or may, even though their bloodlust and their brain is telling them, I'm a demon now, I gotta eat people, there's still that visible emotion, like tears or whatever, on their face, to show that they're really, like, not trying to hurt the ones that they love. And that's, something that's obviously touched upon in Demon Slayer itself, with Nezuko. But they touch on that similar theme again in Gyo's story in this manga. And I think that whole aspect is very interesting and definitely very important in Demon Slayer. So yeah, Gyo's story was really cool. But I think the main story here is Rengoku's story. It's a little bit longer, but I think also there's a lot more to it, because it deals a lot with like, it feels like a little bit of a prequel, because this was before Rengoku was a Hashira. It's him and, dealing with his father, who after his Rengoku's mother died, his wife turned kind of against, not against the demon core, but like just became a lot more reserved, a lot more grumpy, a lot more not, he doesn't really care. And I kind of get that. I mean, losing someone close to you can really do that to you. But it consists of Rengoku fighting this, like, I forget his name, but this demon has like just like an arsenal of weapons, and I feel that's pretty interesting and different, because normally demons are, demons do have weapons, but like a lot of them are very much like melee, like in your face, I'm gonna rip your face off. And this guy has like weaponry and stuff, and I thought that was a very interesting fight. And he mistakes Rengoku for his father, so there's a lot of tension there, because he has a pre-existing hatred towards Rengoku's father, so that causes some anger there. The fight between them is really good. It helps build a lot more off of Rengoku's character, the happy-go-lucky guy that we know and love, but also the guy who is not afraid to flip that switch and become like the badass, like, killer that we know that we need. I had to double check Mitsuri Kenroji. This girl here. I'm so bad with names. I feel awful about it. But Mitsuri is also along, and she gets a great moment of a little bit of not self-discovery, but like what's the terminology I'm looking for? Like confidence. That's not exactly what I was looking for, but like her, doubting herself and doubting her abilities, but when push comes to shove, she comes through and helps out, a family in need, and that really helps her kind of realize, what, maybe I can do this, maybe I can become a Hashira, maybe I can become a successful demon slayer. So that was cool to see too. But Rengoku's fight against this demon is so cool. The art is, really great. A lot of swift, cool action. There's not much more I can say about that. It's just a very cool, action-packed scene. And of course, Rengoku coming to terms with, like, his desire to, like, become the Flame Hashira, and his desire to help people, and his desire to save lives. Really, like, as we know, is very indicative of his character, and just goes to show why Rengoku is so strong and so popular, is because he's just not going to give up. He's not going to push over. He's no pushover. He's not, he's not letting that happen. And obviously Mitsuri gets some cool action here, does this cool spinning move. So yeah, and then, I don't want to spoil it, but there is, this isn't a spoiler, obviously, but as a lot of we know, Rengoku unfortunately is dead currently. So it gives a little very touching tribute to him at the end. I won't spoil it because it's very sweet. But it's nice to know that this character, in my opinion, pretty quickly became not only a fan favorite, but a really, really important character to Demon Slayer. Like in the show, he had a couple good scenes and, became a favorite, I think, because of his cool hair and because he just is a cool guy. But especially after the Mugen Train movie, like he became just so much more. And unfortunately, as quick, at least in my opinion, as quickly as he got started, he was killed off. And I think this manga is just good at, not like I said before, expanding on these characters, but Gyo will still be able to see. He's still alive and he's still around, but being able to expand on Rengoku's character a little bit more, and really, get more of that Rengoku flair that we all know and love, because we won't really get much more of that unless there's more that's in the actual manga itself. I haven't read the actual Demon Slayer manga. I've been watching the anime. So yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like this is a really solid manga. Like I said, world building, great expanse on some characters that we know and love. The stories are really cool and unique. There's a couple little cute, funny, one-off strips in the back that are just little goofy kind of chibi stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think not only does this help build the actual world itself, but they talk a little bit about the Hashira themselves and like their significance. I find that to be really interesting as well. Because like the Hashira are like a group that I find very interesting and that I feel like we don't know a whole lot. I mean, we know enough about, but I feel like there's still so much more to them that we could learn. I'm now realizing that it's just my dumb little head here and all this extra space. Hi guys, manga's really cool. I'm 2 inches tall. That's not my intention for for how these videos look, but whatever, we're rolling with it. We filmed the whole thing already and we're pretty much done. I recommend Demon Slayer Stories of Water and Flame, especially if you're a Demon Slayer fan. Again, helps build the world, helps build 2 really great characters that, like I said, I think quickly become fan favorites. And it's more Demon Slayer. What can you ask for? It's obviously a one-shot, it's a quick read. And if you buy it at Target, at least the one by me, you get 20% off. So that's pretty cool too. Yeah, so I'm trying to, switch up the content. I've been playing a lot of Gundam stuff lately, so I'm trying to get back into the reviews. So I hope you guys enjoy what I'm putting out. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Pie? I just said pie. Bye.